Dr. Sarah Chen didn't believe in coincidences. 23 deep space probes going dark in the same week was a pattern, not an accident. She stared at the holographic display floating above her desk at the Lunar Deep Space Monitoring Station, watching as another probe's signal flatlined. 24, she muttered, running her fingers through her short black hair. The probes had been humanity's eyes and ears in the galaxy for the past decade, gathering data about potentially habitable worlds. Now they were being systematically silenced, starting from the outer rim and moving inward. Something was coming. The quantum comm unit on her desk chimed. "Dr. Chen, you need to see this." It was Marcus Webb, her lead signal analyst. "Lab 3. Now." She found Marcus hunched over his workstation, his dark skin illuminated by screens showing wave patterns she'd never seen before. Before the last probe went dark, it picked up this. He tapped a command, and a sound filled the room, not through speakers, but directly in Sarah's mind. "Help us. They are coming. You are the only ones who can stop them." Sarah's heart raced. "Is this first contact?" Marcus finished. "And whatever sent it knew exactly how to breach our quantum encryption. They wanted to make sure we got this message." The voice came again, stronger this time. "Your minds are different. Unique. The void cannot touch you." "The void," Sarah whispered. As if in response, the message continued. "They consume consciousness. Entire civilizations absorbed into their hive mind. We thought we could fight them. We were wrong. But your neural patterns are resistant. You alone can fight what we could not." Marcus pulled up more data. "The signal's origin is shifting. Whatever's sending this is on the move, probably running. We are the last free members of the Galactic Council. Most of our people are already gone, their minds eaten by the void. We offer you everything we know. Our technology, our star maps, our weapons. In return, we beg for your help. You are our last hope." The screens erupted with data, technical specifications, star charts, weapons schematics. Centuries of advanced alien knowledge transmitted in seconds. "Alert the Security Council," Sarah ordered. "And get me Director Harrison. Tell him." A new sound cut through the room, a scream that existed only in their minds, followed by silence. "Signal lost," Marcus reported quietly. Sarah stared at the data streaming across the screens. "They sacrificed themselves to get us this message, to warn us." She straightened up, her decision made. "Download everything. Lock it in a quantum vault. Then help me draft a report for the Security Council." "What are we going to tell them?" Sarah's eyes hardened. "The truth, that humanity just inherited the responsibility of saving the galaxy, and we have precious little time to prepare." The next 48 hours transformed human civilization. As Sarah presented the evidence to the United Earth Security Council, more probes went dark. The void was coming, systematically eliminating all long-range monitoring systems. But they had underestimated humanity's ability to adapt and innovate. Teams of scientists worked around the clock, analyzing the alien data. The technical specifications proved what the message had claimed. Human brains generated unique neural patterns that disrupted the void's ability to consume consciousness. Director Harrison stood before the emergency session of the World Assembly, his voice steady despite the weight of his words. "We are not alone in the universe, but we may soon be, unless we act." The last free members of an advanced galactic civilization sacrificed themselves to warn us and arm us with their knowledge. They chose us because we have something no other species possesses: natural immunity to the greatest threat the galaxy has ever faced. He paused, looking out at the assembled leaders of Earth. "We did not ask for this responsibility, but we cannot ignore it. The void is coming, thinking we are just another civilization to be consumed. They don't know that humanity has spent its entire history overcoming impossible odds. They don't know that we thrive on challenges, that we are at our best when facing extinction. They don't know that by targeting us, they have made the biggest mistake in their long history of conquest." In the back of the assembly hall, Sarah watched as humanity's leaders voted unanimously to begin preparations for war. The alien database was already yielding results, designs for faster-than-light drives, energy shields, weapons that could fight on both physical and mental planes. But more importantly, it had given them something else: purpose. Humanity had spent centuries looking to the stars, wondering if we were alone. Now we knew the truth. We weren't alone. We were the last hope for countless civilizations trapped in a cosmic horror's hive mind. As she left the assembly hall, Sarah looked up at the night sky. Somewhere out there, the void was coming, confident in its inevitable victory. But they were about to learn what countless others throughout human history had discovered. When humanity's back is against the wall, when the stakes are highest, that's when we become truly unstoppable. The war for consciousness was about to begin, and humanity was ready to show the galaxy why we were chosen to fight it. 3 months after first contact, the Ganymede Research Station had become humanity's greatest hope. Deep beneath the icy moon's surface, Dr. Sarah Chen stood in the observation deck, watching as volunteers underwent testing in the newly constructed neural development chamber. "Show me the latest results," she said to Dr. Raj Patel, the leading neuroscientist on the project. The holographic display came to life, showing brain scan comparisons from the past week. "It's remarkable," Raj said, excitement evident in his voice. The alien database was right. Human neural patterns naturally generate what we're calling consciousness static. It's like our minds evolved to broadcast on a frequency that disrupts external psychic influences. Below them, a group of volunteers sat in meditation pods, their brain activities displayed on surrounding screens. Each person's neural pattern was unique, like a fingerprint, but all shared the same underlying resistance to external mental manipulation. "But here's where it gets interesting," Raj continued, pulling up new data. "When we expose volunteers to simulated void signatures based on the alien data, their neural resistance doesn't just hold. It adapts, gets stronger, like an immune system learning to fight a disease." Sarah leaned closer to the displays. "Can we weaponize it?" "Already working on it." Raj led her to another section of the lab where engineers were assembling sleek, silver devices. "We're calling them neural amplifiers. They take an individual's consciousness static and amplify it, creating a protective field that can shield others. Early tests show they might even be able to disrupt the void's hold on infected minds." A commotion from the testing chamber drew their attention. One of the volunteers, Marina Santos, had achieved unprecedented readings. Her neural pattern wasn't just resistant, it was actively pushing back against the test signals. "Get her up here," Sarah ordered. Minutes later, Marina stood before them, her dark eyes intense. "I felt something different this time," she said. "Like I could reach out and push, not just defend, but attack." Raj's fingers flew over his tablet. "Her neural pattern has evolved. It's not just generating static anymore. It's producing targeted disruption waves." "Can you teach others to do this?" Sarah asked Marina. The former Brazilian Special Forces operator nodded. "I think so. It's like finding a muscle you never knew you had. Once you know it's there, you can learn to use it." The discovery transformed their approach. Within weeks, Marina was leading training sessions, teaching others to actively project their consciousness static. The neural amplifiers were redesigned to support this new offensive capability. But time was running out. Long-range sensors detected massive energy disturbances at the edge of the solar system. The void was approaching. Director Harrison called an emergency meeting of the Earth Defense Council. Representatives from every major military power gathered in the underwater facility beneath the Pacific Ocean. "The void will reach our outer defense line in 2 weeks," he announced, his hologram floating above the council table. "But thanks to the breakthroughs at Ganymede, we're not just ready to defend. We can fight back." Sarah stepped forward to present their findings. "Every human mind is naturally resistant to the void's influence. Through training and technology, we've learned to amplify this resistance and even project it offensively. But our greatest discovery came from understanding why we're different. The room's main display activated, showing comparative neural scans. Throughout our evolution, humans developed complex social structures, requiring strong individual consciousness to maintain personal identity within the group. Our minds evolved natural defenses against groupthink. Defenses that coincidentally make us immune to the void's form of consciousness absorption. In other words, Marina added, what makes us human is exactly what makes us their worst nightmare. The Earth Defense Fleet was equipped with the new technology. Every ship carried neural amplifiers, and crews trained in both physical and mental combat. But Sarah knew their real advantage wasn't technological, it was psychological. The void has never failed to consume a civilization, she told the council. They don't know how to handle resistance. When they reach our solar system, they'll face something they've never encountered. A species that can't be mentally dominated, fighting with technology specifically designed to disrupt their hive mind. As the meeting concluded, Sarah returned to Ganymede. In the training chambers, hundreds of volunteers practiced their mental projection techniques. The neural amplifiers hummed with power, ready to be deployed throughout the fleet. Looking at the activity around her, Sarah felt a surge of pride. Humanity had taken the warning from a dying civilization and transformed it into hope, not just for Earth, but for every species trapped within the void's hive mind. 2 weeks, she murmured, watching Marina train another group of defenders. 2 weeks until we show the galaxy why humanity was the right choice after all. The void was coming, expecting to find another civilization to easily consume. Instead, they would find humanity, standing ready with the power to fight back. The battle for consciousness was about to begin, and humanity was about to demonstrate why we were the species that could turn the tide. Admiral James Chen watched the tactical display aboard the EDF, defiant as the Void's advance fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel at the edge of Saturn's rings. The alien ships were massive, organic-looking structures that seemed to absorb light rather than reflect it. Neural signatures detected, reported Lieutenant Sophia Patel, her hands steady on the sensor controls. They're broadcasting some kind of psychic signal. James felt it. A subtle pressure at the edges of his consciousness, like static in his thoughts. But the neural amplifiers throughout the ship were doing their job, creating a protective field that turned the Void's mental assault into mere background noise. All ships, battle formation Delta, he ordered. The Earth Defense Fleet moved into position, 100 ships arranging themselves in a 3-dimensional pattern designed to maximize their neural amplifiers' coverage. Remember your training. Don't just defend. Project. The first Void vessel launched what looked like a wave of darkness toward the human fleet, but as it approached, it met an invisible wall. The combined consciousness, static of thousands of trained human minds, amplified and focused into a weapon. Now, James commanded. The human fleet responded in perfect synchronization. Neural amplifiers powered up to maximum, projecting not just defensive shields but waves of concentrated human consciousness. The effect on the Void ships was immediate and devastating. The organic hulls of the alien vessels began to writhe and distort. Through the ship's enhanced sensors, James could see the Void's hive mind recoiling from the assault. For the first time in their long history of conquest, they were experiencing what it felt like to have their consciousness disrupted. "Sir," Sophia called out, "we're detecting individual minds breaking free from the hive mind. The neural disruption is working." On the tactical display, James watched as points of light began to appear within the darkness of the Void ships, trapped consciousnesses fighting their way back to independence, aided by humanity's mental assault. But the Void wasn't finished. Their ships began to merge, forming a massive geometric structure that pulsed with dark energy. The mental pressure intensified, and James heard several crew members gasp as their neural amplifiers struggled to compensate. "They're adapting," he muttered. Then, louder, "All ships, execute Protocol Omega." This was the moment they had trained for. Across the fleet, specially trained teams led by Marina Santos activated their enhanced neural amplifiers. Instead of simply projecting consciousness static, they began broadcasting specific patterns, mental keys designed to unlock the trapped minds within the hive mind. The effect was like watching a dam break. Points of light erupted across the void structure as thousands of imprisoned consciousnesses seized their chance for freedom. The geometric perfection of the merged ships began to crack and fragment. "Sir," Sophia's voice was filled with awe. "The freed minds, they're fighting back against the hive mind. They're using our neural patterns as a template to resist reabsorption." The battle raged for hours, both in physical space and on the mental plane. Human ships darted between the fragments of the broken void structure, their neural amplifiers working at full power to maintain the disruption effect and protect the newly freed minds. Finally, what remained of the void fleet began to retreat, but they left behind something unprecedented. Dozens of their ships, now crewed by the freed consciousnesses of various alien species. As the battle subsided, James received a transmission from one of the liberated ships. The being that appeared on his screen was crystalline in appearance, its form shifting with its thoughts. "We are the Luminary," it said, its words translated by the alien database's linguistics programs. "We were among the first to fall to the void, countless cycles ago. You have freed us, shown us how to resist." The hive mind never conceived that such resistance was possible, that consciousness could be strong enough to break their control. "Welcome back to freedom," James replied. "But this is just the beginning. The main void fleet is still coming." "Yes," the Luminary agreed, "but now they face something they have never encountered. A species immune to their influence, armed with the power to break their control, and now aided by those they once enslaved. We will fight with you, teach you about their weaknesses, help you free the others." James looked out at the battlefield, where human ships were helping the liberated vessels regroup and organize. This first victory had proven their theories correct. Humanity's unique mental patterns, combined with their technology and determination, could actually defeat the supposedly invincible void. More importantly, they had gained allies, beings who understood the void's weaknesses and could help humanity prepare for the larger battle to come. The war for consciousness had begun with a human victory, but it was far from over. As the fleet regrouped, James sent a message to Earth. "First engagement successful. The void can be fought. They can be beaten. And we're not fighting alone anymore." The liberated ships formed up alongside the human fleet, their crews already sharing information about void tactics and technology. Humanity had just proved they could do more than resist. They could free those already lost to the hive mind. The galaxy was about to learn why the dying members of the Galactic Council had placed their faith in humanity. The age of the void's unopposed conquest was over. The age of liberation had begun. The command center of the Liberation Fleet aboard the EDF Horizon hummed with activity. Dr. Sarah Chen stood before a holographic map showing the progress of their campaign across the galaxy. Each point of light represented a freed civilization, each dark patch the remaining territory of the void. "The Arquillians have broken free," announced Zar-Il, the crystalline luminary ambassador. Their form shimmered with excitement. Their entire sector is now resisting the hive mind. Sarah studied the map as another region transformed from darkness to light. In the 6 months since the Battle of Saturn, humanity had refined their liberation techniques. The neural amplifiers had been modified based on input from freed species, becoming more efficient at disrupting the void's control. "How many civilizations does that make now?" she asked. 37 major species, hundreds of smaller ones," Marina Santos replied, entering the command center. The former training instructor had become humanity's leading expert in teaching other species how to maintain their mental independence. "Each freed mind helps us understand the void better, makes our techniques more effective." But their success had not gone unnoticed. The void was adapting, changing its tactics. Instead of trying to absorb civilizations whole, it had begun destroying worlds that showed signs of resistance. Admiral Chen's hologram, appeared in the center of the room. The Void has launched a major offensive in the Carina sector. They're targeting the Helix Nebula colonies. Sarah felt her heart sink. The Helix Nebula was home to some of the oldest civilizations in the galaxy, repositories of knowledge and culture that stretched back millions of years. They're trying to erase history itself, she realized. Any record of resistance against them. We won't let them. Marina's voice was firm. The Liberation Fleet is ready, and we have something new to try. The something new was the product of collaboration between human scientists and freed alien engineers. They called it the Consciousness Wave Generator, a device that could broadcast human neural patterns across entire star systems, creating zones where the Void's influence couldn't penetrate. The prototype is ready, Zar-El confirmed. The Luminary shipwrights have integrated it into the Horizon systems. If it works, we can protect whole sectors at once. The Liberation Fleet made the jump to the Helix Nebula, arriving to find the Void already beginning its assault. Their black ships were surrounding colony worlds, preparing to unleash their destructive power. All ships, battle formation. Admiral Chen ordered. Prepare to activate the wave generator on my mark. Sarah watched from the Horizon's bridge as the fleet moved into position. Human ships flew alongside vessels from dozens of freed civilizations, each contributing their unique abilities to the fight. The Luminaries' crystalline ships refracted energy weapons, while the newly liberated Arquillian vessels could phase through solid matter. Wave generator at full power, Marina reported. Ready on your command. The Void ships noticed their arrival, turning to face this latest challenge to their dominion. The familiar pressure of their psychic assault pressed against the fleet's defenses. Now, Admiral Chen commanded. The wave generator activated, and Sarah felt it immediately. A surge of pure human consciousness, amplified and broadcast across space itself. The wave expanded outward at faster-than-light speeds, washing over the Helix Nebula like a cleansing tide. The effect was beyond their wildest hopes. Void ships began breaking apart as their hive-mind connection was severed. On the colony worlds below, billions of minds suddenly found themselves free, remembering who they were for the first time in generations. It's working. Zar-El's crystalline form pulsed with joy. The wave is stable. We can maintain this field indefinitely. But the Void had one last trick to play. Their remaining ships began to pulse with dark energy, and Sarah recognized the pattern. They were preparing to detonate themselves, to destroy everything rather than let it slip from their grasp. Not this time, she muttered. Marina, full power to the neural amplifiers. Everyone. Project. The combined mental force of the Liberation Fleet struck the Void ships like a hammer. Human consciousness, backed by the desperate determination of dozens of freed species, tore through the hive mind's defenses. The detonation sequence stopped as the last vestiges of Void control were stripped away. In the aftermath, as liberation teams helped the freed colonies recover, Sarah received a message from Earth. The wave generator's success had exceeded all expectations. Production was already beginning on more units. Soon, they would be able to create permanent safe zones throughout the galaxy. We've turned the tide, Admiral Chen said during the victory celebration. But the Void's main consciousness still exists, hidden somewhere in dark space. They'll be watching, learning, planning their counterattack. Sarah looked out at the assembled fleet, humans and aliens working together, each bringing their own strengths to the alliance. Let them come, she said. We're not just fighting for ourselves anymore. We're fighting for every mind they ever stole, every civilization they tried to erase. The liberation of the galaxy had begun, and humanity's role had evolved from resistance fighters to teachers, showing others how to maintain their mental freedom. The final battle was still to come, but now they had something the Void could never understand. Unity through diversity, strength through independence. The war for consciousness had become a war for the galaxy's soul, and humanity was leading the charge. The coordinates led to the edge of known space, where the light of distant galaxies dimmed to near darkness. The combined Liberation Fleet, Over 1,000 ships from 40 different species dropped out of FTL travel in perfect formation. At its heart, the EDF Horizon carried humanity's greatest achievement, the consciousness core. Dr. Sarah Chen stood with Admiral James Chen and Marina Santos in the Horizon's command center, watching as sensors probed the void before them. After a year of liberation campaigns, they had finally traced the source of the hive mind to this remote region of space. There, Marina pointed to an anomaly in the sensor readings. The dark space is moving. As they watched, the darkness began to coalesce, forming into a massive structure that defied comprehension, a lattice of impossible geometries that hurt the mind to look at directly. The true form of the void's core consciousness. By the ancient stars, whispered Zar-El, their crystalline form dimming in awe. No one has ever seen their true form and retained their sanity. Until now, Sarah said firmly. The neural amplifiers hummed throughout the fleet, protecting every mind aboard from the overwhelming psychic pressure emanating from the structure. The void spoke, not in words, but in concepts that burned themselves into their thoughts. Resistance elas evolution. Evolution is absorptivian. You will join the unity. Unity through conformity is no unity at all. Admiral Chen broadcast back. We offer you one chance to end this peacefully. Release all remaining consumed consciousness. Cease your forced assimilation of other species. The response came as a wave of mental force that would have shattered unprotected minds. We are PRF, ECTYN. All will be one. Now, Sarah ordered. The consciousness core activated, a device that combined human neural patterns with the psychic technologies of 40 liberated species. It generated a field that was neither purely mental nor purely physical, but something new, a bridge between individual consciousness and collective existence. The void recoiled, experiencing for the first time a form of unity that didn't require dominance. The consciousness core showed them an alternative, a network of free minds choosing to share thoughts and experiences while maintaining their independence. Impossible, the void projected. But there was something new in their mental voice. Uncertainty. Marina stepped forward, her trained mind reaching out through the core. Let us show you another way. The battle that followed was fought on levels beyond physical comprehension. The Liberation Fleet engaged the Void's defenses while the Consciousness Core established links with the billions of minds still trapped within the hive mind. Instead of simply breaking the Void's control, they offered an alternative, willing connection, shared understanding, growth through diversity rather than forced uniformity. Throughout the fleet, humans and aliens joined their consciousness through the core, demonstrating a unity more powerful than anything the Void had achieved through force. Each mind remained distinct, yet together they created something greater than the sum of their parts. The Void's structure began to change, its impossible geometries shifting as the consciousness within struggled between resistance and understanding. Centuries of certainty in their superiority collided with the first proof that their way was not the only path to unity. They're weakening, Zar-El reported. The hive mind is beginning to fragment. Sarah felt it through the core. The first cracks in the Void's absolute conviction. Push harder, she ordered. Show them everything. Our conflicts, our cooperation, our growth through difference. The combined fleet poured their experiences into the core. Humans shared their history of overcoming divisions while maintaining individual identity. The luminary contributed memories of their crystalline harmony. Each species added their unique perspective on consciousness and community. The Void structure writhed, darkness warring with emerging points of light. Then, in a moment that would be remembered for millennia to come, it happened. The Void chose to change. Their final message echoed through every mind in the fleet. We understand. The impossible geometries dissolved, revealing what lay within, not a singular consciousness, but the first minds that had formed the Void, ancient beings who had sought unity but lost themselves in the process. As the hive mind's control faded, These original beings awakened to a galaxy transformed by humanity's resistance. In the days that followed, the last enslaved minds were freed. The ancient beings who had become the Void joined the galactic community, not as conquerors, but as students, learning to connect without dominating. Sarah stood with Marina and Admiral Chen on the Horizon's observation deck, watching ships from across the galaxy come and go through the newly established consciousness exchange, a place where species could safely share experiences and knowledge while maintaining their independence. Humanity's greatest achievement, Marina mused, wasn't defeating the Void. It was showing the galaxy a better way to connect. We spent our history learning to be individuals within communities, Sarah agreed. Now we've taught that lesson to the stars. Admiral Chen smiled. The dying members of the Galactic Council chose well when they warned us. They didn't just pick humanity for our neural resistance. They chose us because they knew we would fight not just to defend, but to understand, to find a better way. As if to emphasize his words, a group of newly awakened Void beings docked at the exchange, ready to learn the art of voluntary connection. Their ancient knowledge would enrich the galactic community, even as they learned to experience existence as individuals. The war for consciousness had ended not in destruction, but in transformation. Humanity had not just saved the galaxy, they had helped it evolve. And in doing so, they had written their own legacy among the stars, not as conquerors, not merely as liberators, but as teachers who showed the way to true unity, one free mind at a time.